Good morning, everyone. This is Rick Murphy with AllNet. Thank you for joining us this morning for our webinar. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Joey, who's going to give us a presentation on the Sony Professional products.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me on this post-eclipse Tuesday. Hope everyone had a good time yesterday. It was pretty awesome, and that nobody roasted their retinas because you'll need them when you're looking at my projectors and Pro Bravia displays. So I know most of you are familiar with our consumer projectors and our consumer Bravia displays. What we're going to be talking about today are our professional offerings within the projector lineup and our Pro Bravia derivatives of those Bravia model displays. So let's go ahead and get started here. So under the Sony Professional Products umbrella, we really have two major categories that we offer through distribution, and those are our professional projectors, and Sony is really the market leader in laser projectors, and we also offer our professional displays, which, as I mentioned a moment ago, are derivative models of our consumer displays, but with a lot more horsepower geared towards the professional environment. Again, 4K and simple signage solutions are included. So let's start talking about projectors in our professional world. So Sony is really the leader in cutting-edge projector products with very high reliability. Our cornerstone is our 3LCD technology, and for the last 5 years, we have been the market leader in laser with our proprietary Z phosphor laser light source light engine. We develop devices based on our 3LCD and SXRD platforms to final products. We were the very first manufacturer in the world to launch a 3-chip LCD laser projector way back in 2013. Seems like just yesterday, but it's been over 5 years now. And we've shipped over 15,000 laser projectors into the marketplace. We're currently launching our 4th generation Z phosphor laser projectors, and it is in the marketplace the most cost-effective 3-chip LCD laser projector out there. So here are just a couple of quick highlights from the last 5 years, and this is really all pointing towards our dominance in laser. In 2013, as I mentioned, we launched the world's first 3LCD laser projector that used only laser as a light source, no LEDs. That was the FHZ55. It went on to win Rave Best of Infocom for 2013 and Commercial Integrator's Most Important Products. In 2014, we followed it up with the brightest 3LCD laser projector. That was our FHZ700. 2015, we introduced 2 new models, the FHZ65 and Z60, in a single platform. Also in that year, the FHZ55 took #1 share with 32% of the 4,000 lumen and up projector market for projectors with interchangeable lenses. In May of 2016, we launched the world's first 4K 5,000 lumen laser projector. That was the VPL GTZ270. On the consumer side, you know its derivative piece, the VW5000ES, but they are kind of designed for different end-user application. And in 2017, we launched the world's most affordable basic installation laser projector that we coined Laser Light. And again, we've won many, many awards. I'll go into some of those here a little bit later. So just briefly, I'll talk about 3LCD and why we feel it is the best technology for projection on the market. We have an exclusive chipset in 3LCD that we call Bright Era. It allows us to generate very brilliant red, green, blue color spectrum full time, and our panels are all designed and manufactured by Sony. So if you're familiar with 3LCD, there's really only two players, Sony and Epson. Ours are completely proprietary. We do some different things than Epson does, but if you're looking at a LCD projector in the landscape and it's not an Epson or a Sony, they're buying their light engines from one of those two manufacturers. So we have quite a long history in LCD. If you don't really know the difference between 3LCD and, say, single chip DLP, I can sum it up in a couple of very brief slides. So 3LCD has three imagers, one for green, one for blue, one for red, and they're active all the time. So a 3LCD projector is going to produce all three colors all simultaneously. A single chip DLP projector cannot do that. So the way that it creates color is by the use of a color wheel. And the color wheel can really only produce one color at a time. The resulting differences are what you see on the screen now. So 3LCD tends to be much more natural looking. The colors appear brighter on the screen, and they have a lot more pop. Single chip DLP, white looks very good because it has high contrast ratio, but it has difficulty with certain colors. Yellow, pinks, reds tend to not look as natural as 3LCD. From a projector standpoint, I know we'll spend most of our time today talking about laser because that's where the biggest bump in growth in projection technology has been over the last 5 years since we introduced the Z55. But I want to make sure to emphasize that we do have a very, very broad range of projectors available through AllNet. These are all professional models designed to go into commercial environments, whether that be a sports bar, a conference room, a boardroom, and beyond. So we can pretty much do everything within our laser lineup. Our projectors will range from an entry-level mobile projector that is very, very cost-effective, XGA at 2,800 lumens, all the way up to our FHZ 700L in the upper left-hand corner. That's a 7,000 lumen WUXGA laser projector. So don't think of us just as laser because we have a lot of projectors in pretty much any type of projector configuration you need, whether it be short throw, ultra short throw, compact, or full-blown installation projectors. Again, most of the focus of today's projector discussion is going to be based on laser. That is where we're the most dominant player in the marketplace. We have the longest tenure in laser-only light source projectors and the largest share. So I'll just go through how the lineup breaks down very quickly for you. At the top, you see we have our 4K platform, which is based on our SXRD technology, the same technology that you'll see in our consumer home theater projectors. We offer two models, a VPL GTZ 270 and a VPL GTZ1, which is an ultra short throw laser projector. The meat of the lineup starts with our WUXGA models. We have the FHZ 700, that's 7,000 lumens. It is sold without a lens, so we have a very wide variety of lens options that you can see at the bottom. From there, we go into our Z65, Z60, and Z57 at 6, 5, and 4,100 lumens respectively. And we just introduced our new laser light projector that you see there at the end. Those are both 5,000 lumen projectors in WUXGA and WXGA resolutions. Again, for the 6,000, 5,000, and 4,100 lumen FHZ models, we also have interchangeable lenses available for that, including a new ultra short throw lens. So we've pretty much got your bases covered for whatever you want to do within laser. Today I want to kind of focus on our hottest new product introduction. This is a product that is kind of shaking up the projector industry once again. We have kind of a history of doing that within laser for the last 5 years. We have nicknamed this product Laser Light, and I'll kind of go through some of the reasons for that. But it is a multiple award-winning projector that we started shipping in June. So Laser Light, why do we call it Laser Light? Well, first of all, it is 45% lighter in weight than our interchangeable lens installation series, the FHZ and FWZ series. It's also 50% smaller from a footprint standpoint than those installation projectors. So for any environment where weight savings or aesthetic size are important, Laser Light is a great choice. And it really speaks volumes to how this technology is evolving from one generation to another. We're able to shrink down the actual light engine in the projector into a much smaller size, and that will continue to evolve with later generations. One of the beautiful things about Laser Light is that it is the most efficient laser light engine on the market right now. So its nominal brightness is 5,000 lumens. That's what it will do when you take it out of the box. But one of the unique features of our laser projectors is a feature that we call constant brightness mode, and it employs a couple of different technologies. One is a technology that monitors the input signal and allows it to automatically dim down the image for any static content that's been on screen for a while. But if you take one of our laser projectors and you install it and you activate the constant brightness mode, essentially what you're doing is telling the projector, all right, detune the brightness just a little bit so that we can get the same amount of brightness from hour 1, and in the case of Laser Light, all the way out to 14,000 hours. So you should not see really any significant decay in the light output of a Sony laser projector in constant brightness mode for almost the lifespan of the projector. Contrast that with a traditional lamp projector, and it loses or decays in brightness from the first hour that it's active. And typically, somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 hours, it's decayed to 50% of its original brightness. So the red line there reflects where you would actually change the lamp, restore it to 100% brightness. With laser and Laser Light, you don't have that problem. Here's a kind of a eye chart, but it kind of shows you that even in constant brightness mode, we only lose about 500 lumens of brightness, and we can maintain 4,500 lumens for at least 14,000 hours. If we want to run that all the way out to 20,000 hours, Laser Light will only decay about 25% all the way out to 20,000 hours and beyond. So from a light source standpoint, our laser Z phosphor system is the most stable light source on the market. The other nice thing about Laser Light is the price. We are setting a new price point for all laser projectors in the marketplace. Our WUXGA VPL PHZ10 comes in at a map of just under $3,200, which is unheard of for a WUXGA laser projector in the marketplace, especially with these features. And we're doing the same thing with the WXGA resolution version, the PWZ10, at under $2,400. So significant leaps forward in performance, but at a price point that, that is resetting expectations in the marketplace. You think to get where we are from a pricing standpoint that we'd have to sacrifice picture quality with laser light, but that's not true. We've actually employed 2 new features in laser light that our previous generations lacked. One of those is actually both technologies are derived from technologies that we're using in our home theater projectors. One of those is reality creation, and essentially the projector has, you know, quite a bit of processing power in it, and it is actually analyzing the input signal frame by frame in Sony's proprietary algorithm and comparing it with a database of picture patterns that we have accumulated over the last 10 years. And then the projector will actually do pixel mapping to get the best possible images on the output side. It does it very, very fast. It's, you know, seamless to your eye. Additionally, we have a feature called contrast enhancer. So this technology allows us to essentially monitor the input signal and in a very fast processing algorithm analyze that picture and pull details out of the dark areas of the scene that wouldn't be visible on competitive products. And we have quite an extensive array of gamma mode adjustments, the same as our higher end installation class projectors. So picture quality is as good as it gets. It's very comparable to our our more flagship installation series projectors, so you're really not sacrificing picture quality by using a laser light projector. Here's a very nice comparison and really what 3LCD versus single chip DLP boils down to. If you look at color tone in the reds, the yellows, and the pinks, you'll see that 3LCD really shines. Skin tone and reds tend to look very natural. Yellow appears correct. And one thing that a single chip DLP projector can't produce accurately is pink. If you look at the image on the right-hand side, it appears kind of purple. So if you have any customers that have high requirements around color accuracy or color gamut, you always want to skew towards a 3LCD projector versus single chip DLP. And don't take my word for it. The laser light projector's performance is second to none. In fact, it's the first laser projector to earn 5 stars in all 4 categories for Projector Central and won the Editor's Choice Award. So I'll just read their conclusion real quickly. Whether set up in a conference room, higher ed classroom, sports bar, or as a display or sign, the Sony VPL PHZ-10 can deliver a consistent image, brightness measured at 4,000 lumens in constant brightness mode, and they were actually measuring a pre-production sample. So the production version is actually 4,500 lumens in constant brightness mode. To summarize, all this makes it a bargain and highly recommended at its $5,000 MSRP, and even more so at its much lower street prices, sub $3,000. So it is quite a substantial entry into the projector landscape. The other neat feature that we have in this projector is, among many, is a feature that we call auto calibration. With any projector, over time, it will need to be recalibrated. So the panels can actually drift slightly in alignment, and you end up with over, let's say, 500-hour increments. You may end up with slight variations in the picture quality from when the projector was originally set up. Laser light actually has a built-in RGB sensor, and it will, every 500 hours at turn-off, it will go in and automatically recalibrate itself to the original settings. So a really, really nice feature that ensures your end users the best quality picture over the lifetime of the projector. Another neat feature about laser projectors, obviously the biggest feature of laser is the maintenance-free aspect of a laser light source versus a lamp. So you don't have to change out the laser light source and it maintains constant brightness. But in our most recent generations of laser projectors, we've also built in a robotic filter cleaning function. So there's actually a piston inside the projector that resides right behind the filter, and every 100 hours at turnoff, this piston taps the filter and knocks off all the surface dust. So that enables us to extend the time that you would need to do any type of filter change, out to possibly 20,000 hours. So you essentially have a maintenance-free projector. Now, some caveats, in a sports bar or a very dusty environment, you may find that the projector filter needs to be changed, but in typical environments, this robotic filter cleaning feature will take care of most of that. So here's a kind of an image of what it looks like, and the piston is actually behind the filter, and it would tap it, and you could actually see it with a slow motion camera with all the dust coming off of the filter. It's also versatile from an input standpoint. We have a wide variety of inputs here, from 2 HDMI inputs. We have an RGB 15-pin serial. We have composite video in for those of you who still need standard def source display on the projector. We actually have a USB in, and we have HD base T built into laser light as well, including an RS-232 connector there. So a wide variety of terminals so that you have quite a bit of flexibility in how you can use the projector. It's also IP controllable via the LAN, and serial control, obviously, through the RS-232. It has a very powerful speaker built into it at 16 watts, and it is Crestron connected. We've also changed the actual design of the projector. So we have what we call blend-in design. So the projector is designed to mount against a white ceiling. And the color of the body of the projector is designed to kind of match typical ceiling tile. We've moved our manual shift and focus adjustments from, you can see in the bottom picture there, where we used to use a screw set to make those adjustments. In the laser light, it's now simple dials. And we have built in a lens cover to the laser light to protect the lens from fingerprints and dust, so that cleaning is super simple and dust doesn't affect the picture quality of the projector. Good. It's also a powerhouse from an installation standpoint. So this projector is really the first projector that we've offered with dual mounting holes. So the projector can actually be mounted in one of two sets of holes. So if you're retrofitting this projector into an existing location, and the existing projector either has a center mount or an offset lens, this projector can go in those spots with no problem. So lots of flexibility and time savings from an installation standpoint. So the question becomes, if laser light is so great, when would you use the higher end class of installation projectors, our FHZ and FWZ projectors? Well, it's a pretty simple argument. Use laser light when the installation is a little bit more basic and you can control it. FHZ and FWZ installation class projectors are great when you need more capabilities. Either you need interchangeable lenses so that you can hit a variety of throw distances, or you need to overcome obstacles in the room from a lens shift standpoint, whether it's horizontal or vertical. our FHZ and FWZ series projectors have a much broader range of horizontal and vertical lens shift, as well as a broad range of optional lenses in both chassis. So LaserLight series is a fixed lens. There are no interchangeable lenses. So if you've got a challenging room like this where the projector needs to be mounted up high, but you need a high degree of vertical lens shift, the FHZ or FWZ series is the better choice. Or in a situation where you just need more brightness, say in a 6,000 or 7,000 lumen configuration. Optional lenses, again, no interchangeable lens available on LaserLight. It is a fixed lens with a 1.28 to 1.88 to 1 ratio, where our installation class projectors have a variety of different lenses from an ultra short throw 0.33 to 1 all the way up to a 4.84 to 1 ratio. So very wide range of optional lenses to overcome lots of different problems in our higher end projectors. From a resources standpoint, we have lots of resources available for you. Sony.com/professional, so if you want to see the whole gamut of professional products that Sony offers, you can hit that URL. We drilled down to just projectors on Sony.com/projectors, so easy URLs to remember. And this website is specific to Sony professional models. There's lots and lots of content there, including brochures, projector content, case studies, images, pretty much everything that you need. As well as when you land on that page in the bottom right-hand side, there is a projector simulator. So you can go in there, select the projector that you're really looking for, and it will help you calculate throw distances and lens choices based on projection distance or image size. So it's a very comprehensive little tool, runs as a little applet in URL, and will allow you to print out your results for your proposals. Sony.com/laser is a microsite specific to our laser models, so it provides even more drilled down content for laser projectors and technology. There's lots and lots of really nice case studies and testimonials of why you would want to use laser over a lamped projector. And just like AllNet, we have lots of short, impactful videos that we host at youtube.com/Sony. So you can just go to that page, kind of type in what you're looking for from a projector standpoint, and chances are there's a nice little video there. So our Pro Bravia lineup, I'll kind of start with a brief explanation of what it is. So what we do with Pro Bravia is we actually start out with the same exact display that you have access to day in and day out in our consumer version. So they are exactly the same models. They come out of the same exact factory, and they share all of the features that the consumer model has. So if the consumer model can do, Google Cast, the Pro model can do Google Cast. If the consumer model can stream YouTube videos, the Pro model can do that. What we do with the professional model is we actually open up some features that are built into the display, but the consumer cannot access in any way. So we essentially flash the displays with new firmware that opens up a whole host of new features, but gives us that, huge feature assortment that our consumer models have. In fact, the model numbers are going to look very, very similar to the consumer models. So on the consumer side, you'll have essentially two prefixes. You'll have KDL for our HD displays or our entry-level displays, or you'll have XBR, which will be the moniker that we use for our higher-end consumer models. On the professional side, you'll know it's a professional monitor a professional display if it starts with FWD. So all the Pro Bravia models start with FWD, and our lineup mirrors the consumer model with a couple of changes. So if you look at the chart here from the bottom, our entry-level display is going to be an X800E, so this will be FWD 43X800E, for example, is the model number. It mirrors the consumer model. Those are 4K models, Motion Flow XR, 400 Hertz simulated, and all of our FWD models, with the exception of the FWD 48W650D, are going to be Android platform. As we move up in the lineup, we have the X850E. That moves into Motion Flow XR 800 Hertz. Again, it's a very, very nice display with aluminum bezel, Android platform. And I'll talk about the HTML5 feature here, which is one of the exclusive features of the Pro Bravia model on subsequent slides. In an 85-inch size, we offer the X850D. That is our 4K HDR model with our X1 processor. The X900E we also offer on the Pro side. That gives us extended dynamic range Pro and full array local dimming backlighting. And then we do not offer the X930 or the X940E on the professional side, but we do offer the Z9D, which is our flagship backlight master drive technology using our X1 Extreme processor. So if you know the consumer lineup, you'll know the professional lineup. Just put an FWD in front of the model number, and that'll give you the professional derivative of it. So sizes will range from, and these are our 4K displays. They'll range from 43 all the way up to a 100-inch in the Z9D series. Just to give you an idea, one of the questions that always comes up about professional displays is how bright are they? So our X8 series, so that'll be a 43 all the way up to the X850, 85X850D, are very, very well balanced displays. They'll typically fall in the 500 nit brightness class. When you move up to the X900 series, this is really where we kind of take off and everybody else, stops. In our X900 series, we can do up to 1,000 nits of brightness. Because they're full backlit array, we won't call out a standard brightness because it's going to range over the whole surface area of the screen, because we're backlighting and local dimming independently in very discrete zones. And then we take that to the next level with the Z9D. So the Z9D will range from 1,000 to 2,000 nits, which is unheard of really in a professional display, and that's for our 100-inch size. So these displays are very, very bright and very competitive in terms of image quality, and actually better image quality than most of the other commercial displays in our class, especially in our price range. So some quick features in short to help you distinguish between the three series. X8 is our standard model, so that'll be the X800Es and the X850Es and Ds. The X900 series offers a much thinner bezel, and when I say much thinner, we're talking 3/8 of an inch to less than 1/4 of an inch. So, visually they're both thin bezel models, but the X9 is even thinner than the X800 series. X900 is again full array, local dimming backlit, so it has very high brightness. And the Z9 series actually, in addition to even more brightness and contrast than the X900 series, features standard dynamic range to high dynamic range conversion for any input signal. So it's actually going to simulate high dynamic range images from standard dynamic range content. So, you know, for anybody out there looking at standard Blu-ray or content coming off of DirecTV or even off air that's presented in standard dynamic range, the Z9D can actually enhance that. Some common features for the entire Pro Bravia lineup: 4K HDR, so all of our 4K models have high dynamic range capability. They all have HTML5 signage capability without the use of an external player. They're all Android platform, so you know, lots of app capabilities available through that Android platform that many of our competitors don't have. They all have a broad control function, so you can control them via IP or RS-232C, and we offer drivers for Crestron, AMX, and Control4. And we have an exclusive feature in the professional displays that we call Pro Mode. So what is Pro Mode? So it basically allows us to do some things that the consumer model doesn't, that are relevant in a commercial environment. So we can restrict certain functions on the display. We can customize how we want the display to behave and allow you guys a little bit more tweaking than what you would have access to within the consumer model. So restrictions, at the top we can do things like hide settings, we can disable the infrared remote, we can set volume limits, we can fix the initial turn-on volume, so if you're using it in a signage format, you can have it come on at the same volume each time. We can disable inputs. We can determine what the initial turn-on input is and even do things like hide input banners. Additionally, we can set it up for custom behaviors. So we can have it start up on the browser when it turns on and point to a URL to run HTML5 signage content. So this display can do signage without any kind of external media player as long as the content is presented in HTML5. We can go in and customize the home menu. We can do things like automatic power on and off based on HDMI connections. And we can wipe out data when the display turns itself off. So we have some, you know, government customers that require that. And as we talked about a few minutes ago, we have a higher level of tweaking for integrators in the Pro Mode. They're all in one solution. So these displays are very, very powerful. They have dual core processors running at speeds greater than 1 gigahertz. Lots of RAM. I mean, equal to a desktop. 2 gigabytes of RAM with 16 gigabytes of onboard storage. They're Android TV OS. They are built-in HTML5 players. They have USB capabilities so that you could use them as a touch panel with an overlay. You can use the USB as storage. Lots of capabilities there. Wi-Fi is built into all of them, or they all have wired LAN ports, and they have built-in Bluetooth. We will very shortly be launching some new software products. So we'll have a Bravia signage software, which will be a per unit one-time license that will allow you to create your own signage content in an application and push it to the display. We'll also have a meeting room app that will offer, again, one-time license, and more. I'll be sharing more of those features in the upcoming, say, 30 to 45 days. We'll also have free apps that will offer for the Pro Bravia model. So there's a USB signage player that's coming very shortly, so that you can load all of your HTML5 content on a USB stick and that will serve as the media player. We'll also have a power management application that will actually allow you to see all of the network connected displays on the network of signage and actually control the power, do things like scheduling. It's a very cool little piece of free software, and the IP remote function, which is currently available on Android and iOS format. So Bravia signage, what can you do with the forthcoming WQBS1 simple signage content? So simple signage, you can do USB, or as I mentioned, you can set the display up so that it points to a URL and serve that content on the URL. But we also will offer a content management system, again, a per unit license that will allow you to upload content by dragging and dropping, creating playlists, create schedules so that you can schedule different content at different types of times of the day, and assign displays for different types of content. So it'll be very, very simple. There will be a server and a client PC required, but it's a very, very cost-effective player-less signage solution and utilizing 4K displays. So there's some examples of some of the things. Sorry, this is preliminary because we're just getting ready to launch those apps. But one of the last things I wanted to talk about is with our Pro Bravia displays, that's an enhanced feature over the consumer model, is our warranty. So all of the Pro Bravia models, again, they start with FWD in the model number. All of those are going to feature a 3-year depot warranty for use in a commercial environment. If you were to purchase our consumer Pro Bravia, our consumer Bravia models and use those in a commercial environment, your warranty is going to be 90 days. These are the sets that you want to be able to use in a commercial environment. They're a very small premium over what you would pay for the consumer models. You'll have all of the same features that the consumer models will have, plus the advanced features of the Pro mode, the enhanced control capability, the signage capability, all within the Bravia platform. And that's it. That's all the all the content that I have today. Rick, do you want to open it up for questions?
Okay, Joey, yeah, we've definitely got some questions that have been coming in here. Okay, the first question that comes in is back to the projectors.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I believe this was posed on the laser light, but maybe we can address this for the FWZ models as well. What is the recommended constant runtime? Can the unit run for 12 hours straight?
Not only can our laser projectors run for 12 hours straight, they're 24/7 rated. So
nice.
you could use any of our laser projectors or our lamped projectors in a 24/7 environment. Just be prepared to have a deep backstock of lamps if you're using a lamp projector in a 24/7 environment. That's really where, if you've got a high usage application, I would strongly encourage you to consider starting your projector search with a laser.
Okay. Also, again, this was while the laser light unit was up, but again, we'll ask it for the full line. It looked like there was a single RJ45 connector, and the question was that the HD-base-T input or the LAN input, or does the same?
It can be used either or.
Okay.
Within HD-base-T, the HD-base-T format will allow you to transmit video, audio, network, and power, so PoE, through that single HD-base-T input. So if you're using if you're just connecting it to the network and not using HD-base-T, you can use the same input.
Okay, and if you want to control the unit via IP, you'd have to connect through the extender?
Yes, correct. Yeah, in
Okay.
an HD-based TV.
Okay, perfect. This question came in, but I think I already know the answer, but I'll let you speak to it. Will there be a commercial version of the OLED panel?
We have talked about it. At this time, we don't think that there would be enough volume for those models to be able to support a pro derivative of it. But if you've got feedback on that, please get it to AllNet and get it to me, and so I can help push the envelope. Some of the capabilities are built into the set. It's just a matter of whether we can afford to assort an additional model number and support it with enough volume.
All right. Another question about the projector line. VPL GTZ 270, you mentioned that's the equivalent of the 5000 ES consumer model. What are the differences between those two products?
The differences are the GTZ 270 is really designed for more of a visualization environment. So anybody looking to do large-scale visualization, so design work, CAD work, where you need to do an extreme blow-up. We do a lot of the GTZ 270s in museums. So the GTZ 270 is designed to run 24/7 in that kind of environment. So it has a little bit beefier power supply. It has a little bit beefier fan configuration, cooling configuration. The inputs are going to be a little bit more pointed towards the visualization community. One of the things about the two 4K models, the GTZ1 and the GTZ 270, is that we don't typically offer those in distribution. I have been able to secure, a one-off here and there, but it's not something that we stock on a regular basis and that you can buy at will. Because the way that those are sold is through an authorized integrator program with requirements.
And those are the only two models that are on the projector side that are pretty much direct pro equivalents of consumer models, correct?
Yeah, there is a GTZ 280, which is think of it as a 270 detuned. So it comes out of the box with lower brightness and a smaller feature set that you can license up. But it's really designed for a very specific visualization customer or customers. So ideally, guys like Ford and GM that, are using the projector in a very dark environment and don't need 5,000 lumens. They'd rather have the contrast. And, from an input standpoint, that kind of thing. So facing the public, the GTZ 270 and GTZ1 are really the two prime models. One point that I did not make during the projector section is our warranty. So everybody understands all of our laser projectors, even the laser light projector, comes standard with a 5-year warranty. Included in that warranty for the first year, we do what we call on-time service. So if you've sold a projector to an end user and 6 months down the road, the projector acts goofy and needs to go in for repair, we'll provide an advanced loaner. So for the first entire year of the warranty. Our lamped projectors are 3 years with 1 year on-time service. And then lamps are all 90 days. The warranty that comes with an OEM lamp is 90 days. Pretty standard in the business.
That's good news on a laser, so 5 years, that's a great warranty. Real quick question of going back to the projectors. So I think that AllNet, our primary focus has always been residential and home theater, and I think some of the people in the audience may have some questions about 16 by 9 versus 16 by 10 when the applications, and also if I think a lot of our guys are buying screens that are inexpensive and they're already pre-cut 16 by 9. What are the rules for using 16 by 10 projectors on 16 by 9 screens?
You can do it. You'll just have a little bit of light spray overscan. You know, I don't know that it would be real noticeable, but it can be. So if you're the projector, you can actually set up to, you know, so that it knows what aspect ratio it is. It needs to output, and then it'll basically blank that portion of the panel that it doesn't want to use, the imaging panel. But there does tend to be a little bit of stray light reflecting off of that panel that you can't totally eliminate. It's way better than a lamped projector, but not perfectly black.
And then all of the Pro models, all of the inputs, all of the DVI on models that have DVI or the HDMI, they all have the HDCP, correct?
Correct. Yeah, no DVI on our Pro models. Yeah, there's only one model that has DVI. That's the FHZ700.
I think we have gone through all the questions in the chat box.
Awesome.
Well, definitely, Joey, thank you for your time today, and thank Ben. I don't know if he was able to stay to the end. Definitely thank you for your time for joining us today and helping us learn more about the Bravia Pro panels and the Sony Pro projectors. Well, thank you for joining us. Joey, thanks again for your time, and we're going to go ahead and end this. We're going to go ahead and end the session.